You are.
Mm-hmm. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips Podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
and we're live on a Sunday afternoon, night, whatever, ready to do some podcasting. Find us everywhere you get podcasts. Leave us 5-star reviews. If you listen to the show from yesterday and you listen to it too soon, it was cut short. It was an hour and 8 minutes when it should have been an hour and 22. Go back and listen, especially if you want to hear why the episode was named Mickey versus Elmo, which you kind of gotta go back and listen to get it. That's my bad, y'all. Anyway, you can leave us 5-star reviews on iTunes. We appreciate that. Contact info is in the show notes. The official weapon of the show is
the taser,
and the unofficial sport
is bullet ball.
And bullet ball extreme.
And while you're talking, I also wanted to let people know that if you listen to us and you like, I want more Rod and Cam, you can also go premium. I know that's something we don't push and promote that much, but we do have premium content out there for people. It's $15 a month and you get everything. If you like, you know what, I ain't got 15, but I got 5, you can go just the tip, and it is $5 a month. We do one show per week.
So that's nice.
Oh, did I do it wrong?
Thing, but you also have to point people towards where to go.
Oh, my bad.
So the Black Guy Who Tips, the blackouttips.com/premium is where you go to sign up for our full premium. And it's also you can also do a year for $150, and then we routinely have like sales about 3 to 4 times a year where it's just like $100 for the whole year, which cuts down to like $8 a month. And it helps us out, man. This is how we stay independent.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we don't have to worry about what the fuck we talk about on our show. This is why we, this is why we have the freedom to do the things that we do. We're independent podcast, Black owned, own all our episodes, all our content. And when you listen to us, you're just getting our unfiltered thoughts. And I think if you like the show, it's a great way to support us. And it's also like not just support, our shit is dope. Like one, we're prolific with what we put out. We put out more behind the paywall than most podcasts put out, period.
Yes.
With all their content in and out of the paywall. So that you got that. The show options that we have behind the paywall, I think can rival people's shows that are just out, right? Like the Nerd Off, it just is a show we do once a week about nerd topics and nerd culture.
Not once a week, once every 3 weeks.
Once every 3 weeks, I'm sorry. And I think that show could rival any nerd show that you're listening to.
Agreed.
I think our sports show and our show we just kind of kick it with my man Justin. We do that about once a week, the pregame and Boss D Sports. Those can rival any sports show that you listen to, any sports podcast. They're so funny, so different, so insightful. Our movie reviews, the Blackout Tips Sport movie reviews, you can hear those when they first come out. Like we've already done our review for Nope. I'm gonna do a review for The Gray Man soon, probably today, maybe tomorrow. So like stuff like that behind the paywall it's great. Live Smacking Good, our food show. So we're not just bullshitting. If you like what you're hearing here, I think you'll like those shows. And if you push on the shove, you sign up, you don't like it, then you just cancel, and no harm, no foul. But I think you will enjoy those shows if you like this show. So you can do that. And if you just want to test, you just want to see like randomly once a week, we'll throw out some content behind the paywall of Spotify/Anchor, where you can just sign up and say, hey, $5 a month, y'all give me one extra show a week, and we do that, and that you just don't get to choose what it is. So sometimes it's sports, sometimes it's nerd stuff, sometimes it's food, sometimes a movie review, but you just don't have to wait the month like most people do. So all right.
Yes. And for just a tip, if you get it through Spotify, it pops up in your Spotify app, but you can also get just a tip without actually being a Spotify member.
Yep. All right, so that's enough promotion. Let's get into but I appreciate that, Karen, because we don't often talk about that part of it, but that's literally how we stay independent and how we do our business, how we really make our money.
Yeah, and the people that pay the full 15, they actually see us live several times a week. So we do the regular show, and then they'll see us do the pregame with Justin, do Ball State Sports with Justin. Then when we do the Nerd Off, we're live for that. So you also, in addition to the recording, you also get to see us live, not on all our premium podcasts, but those specifically podcasts.
Yep. All right, let's get into the news.
Coronavirus.
Yeah.
Oh,
No
wait,
shit.
I meant
Coronavirus.
Again? Look, here we go again. We got variants. Really need to keep a mask on hand and follow the plan. Get the vaccine and second shots, whether woman or man. Black out who tips is doing their part, but the dumbest expand. Niggas would rather believe a bunch of misinformation. Fuck y'all idiots not getting shots. Now we gotta regress. If we keep going in this direction, we never can rest. Never can get back to the lives we be living the best. Damn fool, stop the lying. Stop the intubation crying. Cause it's your fault that motherfuckers dying. Damn fool, stop the lying, stop the ventilator crying, cause it's your fault the motherfuckers dying. I do not understand this shit, I'm not a fan of this. We were like one win from the pandemic championship, but fuckers wanna leave it to game 7 with Giannis Delta Kumpo blocking forward progression and Chris middle fingers to your plans, man. Damn. Looks like it's no true holiday for you and your mans. I'm sick of black people dying for real, so I'm just writing this new piece to let you know how I feel. Coronavirus, fuck that COVID-19, it's unseen, it's creeping in the air for you to breathe, yeah. So fuck that COVID-19, it's unseen, it's creeping in the air for you to breathe, yeah.
Coronavirus news time. Let's do it. The CDC is ending its COVID program for cruise ships, saying they can manage their own COVID-19 mitigation. This shit was very controversial when it dropped. Florida, where a lot of the cruise ships leave from, had a lot of big pushback from DeSantis and the local government and stuff, even though the cruise lines wanted the oversight. And they've kind of been on their own for a minute now, where it's been like, here are our recommendations, but the enforcement of those recommendations has always been up for debate as to what the CDC is able to do and what Florida, the state, will allow them to do.
Right.
Because they also are very friendly with the cruise lines as far as their economic stuff, and they can take away all that shit to penalize them. It's so fucking stupid. But yeah, it's officially gone to, we're on our own.
Yeah, so you might want to think twice before you book that next cruise.
Yeah, pay attention to what their guidelines are, what they're talking, what they're saying. The other thing too is those guidelines could change middle of the cruise. Who knows? But I would imagine a lot of these. What's going to have to happen is a lot of businesses and local municipalities are going to have to step up where the CDC has stepped back and be like, either we're enforcing these things or we're not.
True. And the CDC, they have always put out recommendations.
Yeah.
they can't put out any mandates. Has always been up to the local municipalities and people. And the thing is, like you said before, people wanted it, and now everybody took their mask off and people don't want to go back. And so even people that are like, this is what the science says, we actually should be doing this, are now like, you know what, if y'all don't want it, fuck it. And that's not good, because then your numbers go up, and these same people get mad and angry and upset that the numbers are going up, but you don't want to actually do the things that you need to do to get the numbers to go down. You can't have it both ways.
Biden tests positive for COVID-19, is experiencing mild symptoms. This to me was a matter of time. Like, we've seen him. He's still doing the job of president, and he's out gallivanting and being around the globe. We don't see him wearing masks anymore. You don't really see anybody in these political settings, Democrat or Republican, wearing masks anymore. These open sessions for the January 6th hearing and stuff, all these people in there unmasked. I think we're at a point now where it's going to be looked at, especially if you're vaccinated and boosted, almost like the common cold or flu. Obviously, I don't think it's the common cold or flu, but honestly, that's where the fuck we are. We can, like when I went to my doctor, she was basically like, at some point, everyone's going to get it, and I'm a person that hasn't gotten it, and it's been that I know of. But yeah, this seems to be like the ultimate commercial for the vaccines and the boosters, because all these people that are getting it, they're not dying. These high profile people that are getting it, because the dude that leads the January 6th hearings, he got it, and he just had to work remote, and people are even working through it, which they say not to really do. So it looks like people are going to basically there's going to be two lines of demarcation, the vaccinated and the unvaccinated, and a lot of times the vaccinated people are going to be fine. They don't seem to be getting as heavy symptoms and stuff. And then most importantly, keep in mind the numbers aren't necessarily in yet, but there's a lot of work being looked at to see if it's helping with reduce the possibility of long COVID, even, which it seems to be doing, but those studies aren't in yet to be declarative on that. So hopefully we will get more information in that, where we can have some definitive, like, this even reduces the or doesn't, this does or does not reduce the chance that you get long COVID, because I think that would be a huge game changer if it's like, look, vaccinated people aren't even getting long COVID. Then now you're really gonna have people go, fuck it, I'm not wearing a mask, I'm vaccinated, I'm gonna just get my vaccine every year or twice a year, whatever the fuck, and good luck everybody else,
Right, and it's one of those things. And we still have millions of people across this country, for whatever reasons, refuse to get this shot, and they're going to be the one that's going to be the people that are going to devastate it and overrun the hospital systems more. Once you have the vast majority, like, if once you say it's true and they do all their research and that's what they say, my heart goes out to them, because people are gonna be like, I don't care, because I stay stuck in the house. I did all I was supposed to do. You refuse to do it. You don't believe the science. Well, then you believe the coronavirus is real when it touches your lungs. Then
we've been blessed to have the most highest efficacy vaccines of ever, like in a short period of time in a global pandemic. And there may be people in other countries that couldn't get their hands on it or can't get their hands on it, but that's not been the problem in America. So it's just been a lot of people that willfully are just like, I'm going to continue to let this shit just, there by the grace of God go I. And yeah, I think if that final push of data, if it turns out to be hey, chances are vaccinated people aren't going to get long COVID, it's really gonna like, y'all think it's cold now, it's gonna be super cold then, because then people just gonna be like, basically, fuck you, you didn't get vaccinated.
Yep, a lot of people are there now because of their children not being able to get vaccinated. And the thing is, even with that, sometimes that's difficult, because in Florida, you fucking can't get the shots if you want the shot. So it's like, okay, my kid can't get vaccinated, but now we don't have access to the vaccination, which is really fucked up. But as children, younger and younger and younger, and eventually, when your baby's born, is going to be in the list of shots that you have to get within the first few years. The vaccine is going to be in the list of shots eventually. And once it gets to that point, people aren't going to have any compassion and or understanding. And it's going to get to the point, if it hasn't already, insurance companies are going to stop paying. Insurance companies are going to cover it if you're insured. But if you're uninsured, you're just going to be SOL. It's not going to be free no more.
Right. Monkeypox declared global health emergency by WHO as cases surge. Which is interesting, because monkeypox is something that's starting to be it's starting to be seen almost more as like a STD than just like than like COVID and stuff.
Right. And the thing is, I think people are saying it's not really STD.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. Right. But that's how it's, yeah, I don't know.
Right. Like you say, there's mixed news, because people are going, kids are getting this, y'all. They was like, it's not an STD.
Right. So, but yeah, it's
not that it can't be transmitted that way, but it was like the prime, for a lot of people, they're not getting it through sex.
Yeah, and now that it's being considered a national, like they're putting the alarm out. You know, you think people gonna pay more attention to it. Uh, the largest monkeypox study to date highlights new symptoms. They said the outbreak. Let's see, many of the people affected in the international monkeypox outbreak experience a single lesion or sore in their mouth or on their genitals, a departure from typical symptoms of the virus that could lead to clinicians to misdiagnose monkeypox as another STI. That's one of the main takeaways from the New England Journal of Medicine's new international study of the current outbreak, which is the largest case study of the virus. This truly global case series has enabled doctors from 16 countries to share their extensive clinical experience and many clinical photographs to help other doctors in places with fewer cases. We have shown that the current international case definitions need to be expanded to add symptoms that are not currently included, such as sores in the mouth, on the anal mucosa, I don't even know what that is, mucosa, and single ulcers. They also said that about 13% of the people in the study required hospitalization. There were no deaths, but it was of 70 people, but there were no deaths. And like I said, of those, 13% need to go to the hospital. Yeah, they say you might have difficulty swallowing. You might need to go to the hospital for pain management. Single anal sores have been recorded in several cases. 1 in 10 people had only a single skin lesion in the genital area. 15% had anal or rectal pain. Maybe that's why they're thinking it's like a STD thing, a symptom not typically seen in other monkeypox outbreaks. Total 98% of these cases documented were in gay or bisexual men. And while monkeypox is not an STI per se, the author said 95% of transmissions documented occurred during sexual relations. Now, this is also one pod, so it could be that that's how these people got it, but that's not how the majority of people that are getting cases, period, are getting it. This is just this one study. The authors of the study also reported that semen samples collected showed large amounts of the virus, but they said more research needs to be done to see if semen can transmit the virus. So all right, there's maybe that's why they're considering it, like thinking about calling it STI. Also, a California man contracted COVID-19 and monkeypox.
What they do? Shake hands?
I don't know. He was out here living life
to the fullest.
Okay, I mean,
living my best life.
He thought it was over, I guess. He was like, the pandemic over. I'm out there. I'm just trying to go get this. Time to go out here and get the living. And COVID and monkeypox is somewhere else sitting around like.
I don't want it, and I'm gonna stay my black ass locked up in the house. I'm good.
Yeah. So yeah, you had him at the same time. You said he was really sick. The worst of it was honestly that I could barely get out of bed, and you could barely get a drink of water. Yeah, because it can affect your ability to swallow. Monkeypox, and then of course, COVID affects your energy. So yeah, man, that's a lot.
That's a whole lot. Is there a vaccine for it? Or?
Yeah, monkeypox has been had a vaccine, but it's just that basically we eradicated monkeypox so long ago that we don't have a huge supply of vaccine at the moment, and it's kind of difficult to get your hands on it if you haven't been vaccinated against it. But we do have a vaccine, yes.
Okay, you probably have to be of a certain age and trust. I
don't know if it's an age thing. Okay. Let's not start. Let's not start saying stuff we don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you were saying. I was like, I actually don't know the answer to that. So, yeah. I don't.
Oh, the reason why I said that is because you were saying like it's not a big supply. So my bad. I was saying, well, maybe it might be an age thing. I'm not sure if you don't have like a mass supply of it, or you know what, the pandemic shit, it just might not have it.
Yeah. So I don't know what is the thing about getting the vaccine right now. So yeah, I just noted that supplies are limited, and I don't know how they are deciding who would get the vaccines at this point.
Right. Right. I wonder is there a way to check to see if you've had a vaccine already.
I don't know. Unfortunately, there are a limited supply of one of the vaccines. More expected to be made available in the coming weeks and months. The other shouldn't be taken by individuals with some skin conditions, those with weakened immune systems, or people that could be pregnant. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know who's had. Yeah, it says something. If you haven't had a smallpox vaccine within 3 years, you should get one sooner rather than later. So even if you did get one back in the day, you still would need like an update to that or something. So, all right. Maybe look out at maybe they'll be coming to a CVS near you. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation partly funded an Omicron variant study with a surprising conclusion about boosters, and the surprise conclusion was the boosters protect you against the variants.
No shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of has been made about the fact that it can get around the current vaccines we have.
Okay.
And so it is somewhat of a surprise. They ultimately determined that the BA.5 will be the most immune evasive COVID-19 variant to date, but that doesn't mean our previous boosters can no longer restore protection.
Okay.
We were able to look at essentially every single prominent vaccine platform in the world side by side and see that despite the scariness of this variant, all of the vaccine platforms are going to elicit solid immune responses. That's great news. A New York City employees fired for not getting COVID vaccine grows to more than 1,750 people because they still firing people for that shit.
Yeah, they like we want a safe working environment.
Shout out to them.
They're like
they stuck through to that.
No, we're not having it because the thing is we want people to be able to come to work unmasked if they choose to and not have to worry about infecting somebody, and or if they get sick, it won't be severe. We can't have you here and then be responsible for your death because you just determined not to get the vaccine.
Yeah. This news
tomorrow
article,
when Ohio releases its weekly COVID cases, we'll have a better idea of how the new Omicron subvariant is behaving statewide. But
wait, why is this? This is not what I wanted to play. Oh, fuck y'all. Oh, here we go. All right. So I guess it was in a little ways. Here we go.
Lydia Esparra explains. They say it could save their lives. To get it, controversial. And two sisters from Akron refused to get it, even though doctors say it could save their lives. Lydia Esparra explains.
The coronavirus has now been present in our country for 2.5 years. Millions have been vaccinated and millions haven't. Twin sisters from Akron, Lillian and Lucille, are two who have not been vaccinated.
We are completely opposed to.
And yes, they're black. If you're listening to the audio later, yes, I know.
But I have not taken it, and she isn't going to take it.
But now Lucille needs a kidney transplant. She has lupus, and the disease has attached itself to the kidneys. Lillian is a perfect match. They say the Cleveland Clinic will not perform the life-saving surgery because they're not vaccinated.
Now, this is a routine thing, like almost, I mean, it's 2 years in. You already know, right? If you listen to the sound of my voice, you already know that this has been a requirement in hospitals for a minute since this, and partially because you're more at risk after a vaccine transplant to have like complications from getting COVID. And in a hospital, you're actually more likely to get COVID.
Yes.
If you're sitting in the hospital for a week or however long it takes to recover from this type of shit. So they're really doing it to try to serve you. Now, there's some stuff that we could get very philosophical and deep about when it comes to organ transplants and donor list and how they play favorites and decide whose body and what kind of person gives them the best chance to have success with an organ, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get into that part. This seems pretty simple to me. You about to die. This seemed like a time where just get the vaccine and just get the vaccine and get your transplant.
Right. They'd be mad later alive.
Right.
If I get the shot, I'm going to lose my life for sure. My kidneys are failing. The filtration itself will not tolerate that vaccine.
The twins
that is such bullshit. No doctor told her that.
Nope.
No, like there's no hospital that said that to her.
No.
This is what we can't, like, when I talk about the vaccine and vaccine outreach and stuff, we are past the point, way past the point of saturation when it comes to the information that's out there. People at this point are willfully just being ignorant. There's no fact, there's no science, there's no knowledge they're following. There's no hope to vaccinate these people. And it's sad, but when you see the CDC and all these people moving on, like, well, fuck it then.
Right.
They're moving on because they feel like we've done as much as we can do. There's never going to be a point where we can do better than what we're doing. So it's now everybody's just got to go back out there.
Have hired an attorney.
This is discrimination under.
Now, I don't know what's up with this attorney's office.
Like a school classroom, like a principal's office.
Yeah, he's a gym teacher and a lawyer on the side.
An assistant coach and a DA.
Yeah, like he look like every assistant principal's office you've ever been in.
All the degrees hanging in the background.
Yeah, there was some choices made in the office design here.
Somebody over in the corner doing in-school suspension.
Yeah. Right.
The Americans with Disabilities Act. This is damaging a major life activity. The major life activity is taking care of our own health.
The Cleveland Clinic says
that word salad didn't make no sense.
Mm-mm.
Add some grape tomatoes and some ranch dressing to that shit, because it didn't make no. It was like, it's discrimination. It's like, how? Because we black or
we know. And the thing is, they refuse everybody. We've seen angry ass white people bad about the same shit.
Y'all discriminating against people that don't want to take the vaccine.
For the living,
you'd be like, yes, we are.
That's a choice.
Risk of COVID-19
right, that's a choice.
Around the time of their surgery and recovery is crucial. And they add, for the transplant candidate, in addition to a major operation, medications taken after an organ transplant weaken a person's immune response. Serious complications of COVID-19 are most likely to develop in those individuals who have weakened immune systems.
Right.
Time is quickly running out for Lucille.
We are now at the pretty much end of the road. My sister's function is only 7%.
A vaccine is.
I feel like they think they're making a compelling case for themselves, and it just, to me, sounds like fatalism. That you like. I could not watch somebody I love die, knowing that the only thing stopping us was just getting vaccinated.
Right.
And honestly, I'm sorry, but we cannot fuel these people's paranoia and delusions. So many millions, if not billions, of people have gotten vaccinated now. This reality where it's like you take the vaccine and your kidneys die, it's not true.
It's not true.
People of all stripes and all types of health issues have taken this vaccine and lived and been just fine. So
yes, and people in your condition is like, yes, right. I'm going to take the shot.
This is not a customer is always right situation. You know what I mean? Like, this is a medical people are advising you on what is giving you the best chance, and you just like, I'm a la carte pick and choose from this. And I just think that's so sad and irresponsible for them, but ultimately it is their choice. But to me, it's like, these are the consequences that come with that choice. No one can make you get vaccinated, but you can't make somebody give you surgery when you won't comply with the things that give you the best chance of surviving it.
Right. And they're not asking you to do anything irrational or illogical, or they're not actually do anything outside of a normal standard routine.
Right.
And so that's the thing. You don't want to get it. Well, then you got to deal with the consequences of losing your sister.
Yeah.
Needed for surgery. But for the ladies, it's just not an option.
Now, the sisters are trying to find another hospital in other states that would be willing to perform the needed transplant without the COVID vaccine. They also say
most
after all
hospitals
the
are not.
testing with the Tuskegee experiment, a very controversial and discredited study.
The Tuskegee experiments.
I see niggas get on my nerves when they bring that shit up. People don't even know the reason. Like, you do know that they didn't get the vaccine, right? Like they didn't get it. Now they did get it.
Sit your dumb ass down.
Yeah, they didn't get the shot.
The Tuskegee experiments, like that's up there with the Willie Lynch letter as far as like people misusing what actually happened. Just that. Oh man.
Oh, okay. Oh, you crazy.
I don't want to see you die for this dumb shit,
Right.
man.
I don't want to see you die.
And like all this stuff being debunked, you just don't care. You know, it's just sad, man. But hey, it's your life to throw away. But yeah, that Tuskegee experiment, like, oh, the Willie Lynch letter, you know.
Yeah, and odds are you're not gonna find it at a hospital. At least probably not close to you. You probably you may can find one in Florida, may can find one in Texas, but even they got rules and regulations going. No, there's certain shit we got to do because you know what? This same family would sue them if they get in there and both of them die because they're not vaccinated. Because they're, the hospital is accountable for you.
Right. Oh my God. Let's talk about some other stuff. Let's see what else is happening out here in the world. You know what? Let's do another segment. Let's go to some LGBTQ news.
Let me see what you want to be. You better move your body. You better move your feet. And I want to groove. Show me what's cool. Riding, caring, baby. LGBTQ news. I try to take us down, but we still around. We let it get out. I try to still shine, but we on the ride. We let. You can't do what we about to do. We let. Like LGBTQ news.
All right, let's do it. LGBTQ news. What is happening out there? A lot. Gay Oklahoma mayor resigns due to concerns for his safety after altercation with the police. The out gay mayor of the Village, Oklahoma, resigned on Monday, citing harassment and concerns for his safety. For almost 5 years, I proudly served the Village as council member and mayor. It's been an honor to serve, and it's been my great privilege to break boundaries. I no longer feel safe to serve in my capacity here. It's with a heavy heart that I tender my resignation. In this letter that he wrote, attached to this tweet, in the last month, I've been followed home from meetings, threatened while walking my dog, harassed at Starbucks, and I've had my tires slashed. Unfortunately, these malicious, bad faith attacks are escalating, and I no longer feel safe to serve in my capacity as mayor. One of the things that I think is being, and this is why conservatives continue to win these culture war, quote unquote, debates, is because they move the needle and we start reacting to where they're at as opposed to where we should be talking. And one of the things they've been able to do with Don't Say Gay and gay people are pedophiles, trans people are pedophiles, and all this hatred that they're spewing under the guise of we're protecting our children, but it's really just hatred. It's homophobia, it's transphobia, it's queerphobia, it's all that stuff. Well, one of the things they've been doing essentially is making being gay a threat to other people.
Yes.
And so they can feel righteous in their harassment, threatening, and all this other stuff of these public figures, whether you be a teacher, whether, they tell teachers, hey, you got to go back in the closet. Like, you can't have a picture of you and your same-sex partner on your desk. We can't have that, Now, if you were straight, sure, no problem. But you, by nature of who you are, who you're married to or dating, you immediately are somehow attacking our children. They accuse so many people that are LGBTQ of being groomers. And of course, it's sad because a lot of these things are literally things that they're okay with as long as it's straight people or Republicans doing it. So it's not even a principled stance, is what I'm saying. Like some of their faves, Donald Trump, was kicking it with Epstein and shit. Some of their faves is on this list and they don't care, But yeah, Graham claims the harassment stems from a May 28th altercation with Nicole Hill's police. Officers from the neighboring city had reportedly stopped a speeding vehicle just inside the village city limits. Nickel Hills police officer Brandon Edwards claims Graham arrived shortly after he and another officer pulled over the driver, and the mayor yelled at them about how they could not stop people in the village. His presence directly agitated an already uncooperative driver during the stop and put our safety at risk when it didn't need to be. Graham reportedly refused to answer questions about the incident at a June 20th village city council meeting. I stood up against Nickel Hills police targeting the village residents. Graham wrote in his resignation letter, "I will never apologize for standing up for people I was elected to serve. I'll never understand why some officials are more concerned with representing the interests of Nichols Hill than the interests of their constituents." That's interesting because if that's what it stems from, that's really just more about how the police harass people for standing up to them, and not really like it's not necessarily a way to prove that that's happening to him because he's out and gay. You know what I mean? But police do. I mean, we've seen it after Uvalde. Police do retaliate against people that try to call them out.
Because some of the parents that was speaking out and shit was like, "Yeah, they threatened me."
Yeah, and I do wonder what was the impetus to say they were targeting people from the village. Yeah, I have more questions than answers after reading that, to be honest. Catholic hospitals deny same-sex couples fertility treatment. Illinois-based OSF Healthcare, owned by the Sisters of the Third Order of St. Francis, which sounds like some motherfucking Star Wars shit. The Sisters of the Third Order.
Yeah, they were the dark side.
Right. A Roman Catholic organization based in Peoria, Illinois, changed language in its fertility treatment policy to explicitly refer to opposite sex couples only. Employees in the same sex relationships will not be covered. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois administers the hospital group's healthcare plan. Under the new policy, OSF Healthcare, which operates 15 hospitals and 132 other facilities in Illinois and Michigan, redefines infertility as the inability for a married couple of opposite sex spouses to conceive. Now, keep in mind, in a lot of cases, this is the only way for same-sex couples to conceive if it's like two people with vaginas or one person has a vagina or something like that. And it's like, okay, cool. We're not going to have traditional, traditional sex that leads to a child, but we can still go through fertility and basically they're like, no, you can't. Because the whole thing is we got to get y'all's bodies back under control. And the less options we can provide for women to have choices, the more we can make them bow down and yield to our patriarchy.
Right.
And states its coverage aims to assist married opposite sex spouses in their efforts to have a child. LGBTQ advocates say it's one of the first instances in the United States of an employer explicitly excluding workers from health coverage, not because of objections to a particular treatment or service, but because of the sexual orientation of the employees. The policy could be illegal under federal laws prohibiting discrimination based on sexual orientation, but guess what? It's probably gonna go to the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
And really, guess what they're gonna probably rule.
Right. And it's just fucked up because don't nobody care what you do if the insurance company covers. Who the fuck are you to tell the insurance company they can't cover policies? I'm paying for the service.
Yep. But yeah, it just feels like one of those things that's designed to be challenged in court, designed to go to the Supreme Court, designed for the Supreme Court to say, no, you can discriminate, and it's going to have wide sweeping effects on all kinds of queer people who are employed at places, because it's going to basically fight against the federal statutes right now that only since Obama have recognized like trans people and stuff, but it's going to, and sexual orientation, it's going to fight against that stuff so that it's like, no, we have the right to just discriminate against certain employees based on their orientation or gender. Crazy.
Yeah, and not only that, this and They want to strip birth control and stuff too. Eventually, that's going to go up there too. So now, when you go to a job, you got to be like, do y'all cover birth control? No, well, then I can't
Right.
work here anymore. Like it's actually going to be that cut and dry, because when you work for a company, you just be like, well, these things come with the employment because I'm an employee. My employer should not determine what's covered underneath the policy. It's like we get a policy, yay or nay, and the insurance company determines that. And as long as the law of the land says that they cover these things, who are you to say that these things can no longer be covered just because I'm employed with you? So now you're actually affecting people's employment, because you are going to have some people like the people going to start going to interviews, and that's going to be a question. Do I have to fight y'all about goddamn birth control, condoms, female condoms, like what shit do y'all cover? Because I don't want to join a company and sign this shit to turn around and fight.
Christian candidate says doctor who helps trans kids should be hung from the nearest tree. A Florida school board candidate argued in a public meeting that doctors who provide care for transgender children should be hanging from the nearest tree. Elizabeth, spelled with an A, Janae Lancaster, who is running for a spot on the Santa Rosa County School Board, made the violent comments this past Monday at a political forum organized by the far-right organization Gulf Coast Patriots at the St. Sylvester Catholic Church in Navarre, Florida. I am a conservative and hold Christian values and beliefs, Lancaster said in her speech. I would love to see the prayer reinstated instead of the moment of silence. Our country was founded on Judeo-Christian values and beliefs that I believe should be respected and encouraged. The children should not be burdened with the woke agenda that is leaving a path of destruction everywhere it goes. Just to mention what has recently surfaced, the pharmaceutical companies are paying $1.3 million for each gender reassignment. Lancaster continued, it's unclear what she referred to or got that number. These doctors that are going with mutilating these children and prescribing hormone blockers to these kids, in my opinion, they should be hanging from the nearest tree, as she said, and then got a very loud applause.
Hello. My name is Elizabeth Janae Lancaster, and I am running for Santa Rosa County School Board.
Yeah, all right. I like my version better.
I do too. I take your version. I'm good on her.
But once again, they're disguising this hate by being like it's about the kids. Mm-hmm. You're talking about openly lynching people, doctors, who are not performing some like against the will of these kids and parent surgery, like surgery, gender affirming surgery that are requested and approved by the parental guardians of these children, the children themselves. And you somewhere being like, we should kill them. Mm-hmm. And this is the kind of shit they've been saying about abortion, doctors that do abortions and shit for a long time. They're just moving to the next targets, and they're never going to stop.
No, they never. And they're the side that's violent. Our side is non-violent. We don't be having the guns, and we're not willing to get dirty. And actually, we're not willing to be violent, but they are. Right. And that's the problem. They're willing to fight, bleed, and die. Most of us will post a tweet and then be like, I'm tired, bitch. What else? Let me do something else. And they're like, no, what we gonna do? We gonna get on the school boards. We gonna win offices. We gonna do these things. So that when you do decide to get mad and protest, it ain't gonna mean a motherfucking thing, because we'll just continually change the laws where you have less and less power. You already don't fight. So when we strip your power, you're definitely not gonna fight to get your power back. Like, that's the shit that our side does not understand. That's the whole goal. Because the thing is, lynching and hanging people ain't new. This shit ain't new. They just want to take it back to how it was and how it used to be.
Vandal was arrested for spray painting Target's Pride display. He could get locked up for years. A man named Jonathan Burns has been arrested for felony vandalism, as authorities say he spray painted the Pride section of a Target store in Knoxville, Tennessee. Knoxville police say that Burns, 31, went to the Target on Monday at 2:49 p.m. and spray painted the entire display for Pride clothing and merchandise. The arrest report accused him of throwing a can of spray paint on the ground and then leaving the store. He was arrested over a week later, on June 22nd, at his home, when police posted screenshots of the surveillance video to social media. Fingerprints from the can of spray paint matched his fingerprints. Oh, this open and shut case. The arrest said there's evidence he bought the spray paint and a bucket at another store just before he went to Target. He is accused of causing $3,884 worth of damage to the merchandise and clothing and $16 worth of damage to the signs.
Because of the amount, it's a felony charge. And talking like, we don't give a fuck. You fucked up our store.
Yeah, he can be sentenced from 2 to 12 years in prison and up to $5,000 in fines. What an absolute dumb thing to do.
They wouldn't have cared what you did it to. They was like, you fucked up our property, go to jail.
Yeah. You know it's funny too, because how old was he? 31. Like, yeah, it's like, what do you think you're, I don't know, like, what would be the point? You know what I'm saying? Like, someone's gonna walk in and be like, you know what? Being gay is wrong. I never thought of this before, but now I've seen it spray painted in a Target. I'm starting to maybe don't say gay, you know.
And a lot of this behavior is society and Trump and all these other people have basically said this behavior is okay, and there's no consequences or action or no repercussions to it. Like that behavior led to January the 6th, that mind frame of we can do this shit, we're righteous, we're right, and there's no consequences or repercussions to our actions. And so this is a person that thought that shit, and Target was like, no bitch, this is the store, you fucked our shit up. We wouldn't care if you went in here and painted the preschool section. You got to go to jail.
Yeah, you've been inspired and radicalized. I mean, essentially, that's what it is. Last story in this section. House passes same-sex marriage bill in retort to high court. The U.S. House overwhelmingly approved legislation Tuesday to protect same-sex and interracial marriages amid concerns the Supreme Court ruling overturning Roe v. Wade abortion access could jeopardize other rights criticized by many conservatives. In a robust but lopsided debate, Democrats argued intensely and often personally in favor of enshrining marriage equality in federal law, while Republicans steered clear of openly rejecting gay marriage. Instead, leading Republicans portrayed the bill as unnecessary amid other issues facing the nation. Keep in mind, this is the same unnecessary that they said when it came to Roe v. Wade. It was like it's settled law. We don't need to pass anything. We don't need to. There's no need. We already did that. So now they want to catch everybody with the fucking pants down because they're like, let's do that tactic again. No need. Guys have got it. But Clarence Thomas openly courted people to challenge this stuff.
Yeah, we don't
in
believe
court.
you, right?
And their argument has been, well, it's not explicitly written in these laws. Like they're not laws saying you can or can't have certain rights.
Right.
So now, since that was the argument, there people are like, well, let's go to the rights that we do have and make laws. What I find interesting here is that it passed 267 to 157. 47 Republicans voted with the Democrats and said, yeah, it's legal to be same-sex marriage, and it's legal for marriage equality and interracial marriage, right? Okay. People were reporting this like, wow, the Republican Party, maybe it's changing. Let me repeat these numbers to y'all again. 267 to 157. 157 Republicans did not think interracial marriage or same-sex marriage should be a right.
Right. That's a problem.
Yeah. That's wild.
That's a problem.
That's wild.
That's why people need to vote and vote their asses out of office.
It's called the Respect for Marriage Act. It'll probably stall in the Senate.
Of course.
Because Manchin and Sinema probably will not say, let's get rid of the filibuster and pass this thing. And I doubt you'll see any Republican senators cross over, even like a Mitt Romney and those people. You won't get 10 of them or 12, whatever it takes. You won't get enough of them. So it won't become law. Right. And this is an attempt to codify it. What's the sad part is Democrats are doing what people ask. The system is showing you why you can't just do it with the numbers we have. And this is just my own cynical point of view. One of the reasons I don't like this kind of shit is because it's so performative, and when it fails, people they are not rational about the failure. They won't be like, you know what? They tried, they knew they didn't have the numbers, and it should illustrate to us how important it is to continue to vote Democrat until we get the numbers. Instead, people will say, Democrats didn't even do anything.
Do something.
I mean, when the Supreme Court tries to overturn this shit in a couple of years, well, they didn't even do anything. And I hate that part of it. Like, I like that they tried. I like that they showed some hustle. I just wish that we had a rational public,
right,
that was like, yeah, man, they're trying. We got to do something to get things on their side so that they're not just trying in vain anymore. And instead, it's just gonna be they didn't do enough and they didn't want it enough. And we'll never say anything about the fact that the vast majority of Republicans were against it. We won't say anything about the fact that not enough Republicans would ever cross over to codify this shit, a right that we believe we have. And then ultimately, you know, the most cynical, depressing shit is, I'm not even sure if they did pass it, that the Supreme Court wouldn't still strike it down and just make up some reasoning.
Yes, sir.
Behind the scenes.
Yes, sir. Pick some out the sky.
Yeah.
You know, and so for me, and I don't know, maybe it's the age thing. Like I said, some people need the performance. I don't need it. I want motherfucking results. I don't care about your song and dance. I don't care about the plays. I don't care about about the we bringing everybody out. We sure I don't give a fuck. I want shit done.
Yeah, I think if we had some proof that them doing this stuff actually did appease the people that claim this is what they want to see, I'd be okay with it. But I just am reminded of how much so many people push towards the Democrats need to impeach Trump. And when there was like, they don't have the numbers and Republicans will never break rank to do this, to actually impeach this man. And everybody was like, they need to do it anyway. And so they did it, and they failed, quote unquote, twice, knowing they would fail. And people still somehow made it like they didn't do nothing.
Right.
They still to this day go, Democrats didn't do anything. They tried to impeach this man twice. They fought, and it's still knowing that they didn't have the numbers. And the only thing that would have been able to change that is us as a political populace going out and voting to give them the numbers, and people still think it's their fault. So I just hate that shit.
Me too. That's why I said I don't care about the performances.
All right, let's get to some other stuffies. Okay, there's other things to talk about. Let's see. Where should we go? You know what? Why don't we do some fucking with black people?
Okay.
All right, let's do that. We pull up the fucking with black people music. That would help. Here we go.
Hey, we're just fucking with them people because they black. We're just fucking with them people because they black. We're just fucking with them black people. We're just fucking with them blacks. We're just fucking with black people. Hey, hey,
All right, let's talk about it. Things that's making us feel fucked with as black people. Up first, Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer responds to Zendaya comparisons and colorism commentary. So what happened was that it's weird because it's like a Twitter thing became a news story, but I'm not really sure anybody was thinking about this or acting like this before this Twitter thing. So somebody on Twitter said Keke Palmer deserves the same hype that y'all give Zendaya, and it was out of a picture from a spread that she did for British Vogue, where she was looking, you know, amazing and shit. As
Zendaya,
Keke Palmer.
Okay,
you know, Keke had Nope come out this week.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure the pictures, you know,
I can show you the pictures if it'll help, but yeah, the pictures are Keke.
Okay,
and so she had a spread. This is kind of, it's promo week. She's been in all the news, and
I like those pictures. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, thighs out, afro out, all that stuff. And she's been everywhere because it's her time or whatever. But also she's been everywhere most of my whole life because she's always been like a very famous, successful actress. Just personality in general too, because she's gone beyond just acting. At any rate, someone said Keke Palmer deserves the same hype y'all give Zendaya, which to me is weird, but okay. Like, is this woman's having the biggest opening weekend of her life of, like Keke, it's also Keke Palmer, so like she's extremely accomplished. It's not like we're talking about somebody that's like slept on, quote unquote. Not even to be like a jerk about it. We're not even talking about like the most dark-skinned woman. Like, we're not even talking, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's obviously black, brown, but it's not some like like she's brown skin. And this is the other thing I hate about these debates is what happened to brown? Like, everything always goes from, it's you either light skinned, which in these arguments is considered white almost.
Right.
You either light skinned or you are the darkest of dark night. And it's like, there's a whole spectrum of blackness in between that. But okay, I would say Keke Palmer was brown skinned. That's not even like shade or anything. It's just, if you would have asked me before today, I was like, yeah, brown skin. But anyway, so then it had to become this interesting thing that always happens. Someone says, I'd like to see so someone said it's so interesting seeing the conversation around Keke Palmer having her breakout or superstar moment, and it's wild we live in different worlds because in my household, Keke been a star forever since Akilah and the Bee and my dad's favorite movie. It went triple platinum in my home. And someone said I'd like to see someone do a deep dive on the similarities and differences between Keke Palmer's and Zendaya's careers. This may be one of the clearest examples of how colorism plays out in Hollywood. They were both child stars, but their mainstream popularity is very different. And then another one of these motherfucking anime avatar niggas said having discussions about colorism involving Zendaya can be so frustrating because trust her fans will get overly defensive every single time. And so then people been arguing about it on Twitter all day. To me personally, it feels ridiculous when people pull these examples out. It feels more about getting controversy, likes. It doesn't feel like anyone's going to do any work off of this. It doesn't feel like anyone's going to change Hollywood based off of this, or even that's the goal. I think the goal is to have an argument on Twitter with people. And I do think it's when you individualize a macro problem, when you make it micro into this one person versus that one person, it's always extremely subjective, because you can take this way and you can be like, Azalea Banks should be blank, and then you're like, well, Azalea Banks has done a lot of shit to get in her own way, so then should she be blank? Or we do the thing where someone's light skinned and they're very talented, but we just say they're light skinned as a way of saying they're not that talented. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't become like a or we say they're not that black even, like, they're not even that black. Look at them, they're light skinned. It becomes a lot of things. It doesn't need to be to have that conversation. But my favorite part of this, Keke Palmer is having such a successful life, but this particular weekend, the biggest box office opening of her career, and motherfuckers are acting like she is Cinderella before the slippers. Like she's like, you know what I'm saying? They're acting like she ain't nobody. Like she is unsuccessful even, or like, and I think it's because, and it reminds me of Conflict Is Not Abuse, the book that I always reference. Mm-hmm. In order to have a conversation, they have to denigrate Keke's career, claiming they're defending her. She should be this big, but she's not. And you're like, So is Keke supposed to be sitting somewhere bitter about how her career is terrible? Because I have a feeling she's not, because she's fucking everywhere. Like you picked such a visible person to make this stand. Both of these people are very visible. Anyway, what I thought was interesting was Keke's answer to this.
Okay.
A great example of colorism is to believe I can be compared to anyone. I'm the youngest talk show host ever, the first black woman to star in her own show on Nickelodeon, and the youngest and first black Cinderella on Broadway. I'm an incomparable talent. Baby, this is Keke Palmer. I've been the leading lady since I was 11 years old. I have over 100 plus credits and currently starring in an original screenplay that's #1 film at the box office. Nope. I've had a blessed career thus far. I couldn't ask for more, but God continues to surprise me. And I'm like, yeah, like, what made y'all? I don't know. I think honestly, one of the reasons I don't like a lot of the conversation around colorism, other than the fact it's extremely messy and a lot of times very hypocritical, people can't maintain a through line, but it's also because it becomes so micro and it ends up turning into the stand culture wars. Who do you like more? How can we denigrate this other person and take them down a notch, as opposed to being like, these are the repercussions of an industry and a world that sees darker skinned people as less valuable. They don't talk about money. And I don't mean I'm not talking about an individual celebrity, man. I'm talking about, we can actually statistically look at people and go, if you're this dark skinned, if you're from these places, you do not make as much money as light skinned people. We know these facts. You know what I mean? We can look at caste systems. We can look at much bigger things that actually do show over time, like there is a cost to being darker skinned in many societies. But instead, we end up with these discussions that are like, do you like Zendaya or Keke Palmer more? Or we don't go up enough for something. There's no measurement for going up. There's no measurement for putting on. These are just, and honestly, you're telling on yourself when you say that. Whenever we say such and such is overrated, that person is telling you they think that person's underrated until today. Like they just realized, oh shit, I'm been sleeping on so-and-so, but they make it everybody's responsibility, right? Oh, so-and-so is underrated. Nigga, you decided that, and all of us do that, But yeah, I thought it was extremely interesting to see, because I would imagine if this was about defending Keke or even going up for her, then why do you think you see how she took it? Because so much of this conversation is attached to the idea of like pity, and it's not empathy, it's not even sympathy, it's pity. It's not, I don't want your pity. And my guess is that, in a lot, I know it's currency on the internet, but a lot of people don't want your pity. They might want you to move out their fucking way. They might want opportunity. They might want a lot of shit, but they don't want your fucking pity, because your pity is actually kind of doubling down on like, yeah, you're not as valuable. Because the only reason you see Keke Palmer as somehow this person of unfilled potential and unfilled recognition is if you ain't never recognized her or her potential before till today. Like, this is not someone living in obscurity that we're like, whatever happened to her. So I just think that's the part that's interesting. And then going after Zendaya, who, like they're gonna, her fans are gonna be mad. It's not just her fans, it's just the fact that she is a talented person that has proven that she's talented. So you're not gonna find a lot of people who are willing to take that extra step of like, yeah, how come she got, because people are like, why? Because she's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so yeah, I thought that was an interesting conversation and somewhat frustrating.
Yeah, and this is dumb. The whole thing is stupid, particularly when it started on Twitter, because it's very, very frustrating when a black woman who has the biggest box office of her life, like something that should be celebrated, and instead of celebrating, you basically come in and be like, well, what about this other black woman? Okay, she has her time too, but what does that have to do with this moment right now? It's basically you're starting an argument and a division for nothing. They're both very, very talented women. They both have child stars. They both have low, because Zendaya, she done Disney and all that stuff. Like both of these women ain't nobodies.
Right.
But in order for this argument to be valid, one of them has to be lesser than. So it's like you're already coming in it from a thoughts perspective, from a let's fight perspective. So that's why I said, for me, this is dumb, and it's like you're starting an argument or a debate that really is not there. And actually, it's a bigger societal problem, which has nothing to do with either one of these women and or their careers.
And it's reductive.
Yes.
It's reductive because like I said, I think we need to step back and talk about macro shit versus micro, because when you do this and it happens so often, you're reducing her to some type of victim and it doesn't fit. And when the reason you see her as a victim is because she's darker skinned than Zendaya, so she must be a victim. And she's telling you like, nah, that's not my experience. So what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like this, and even the fact that you picked her to compare on the most visible weekend of her career, it feels to me like this was your attempt to do some stan culture, stan wars shit. It's like, it's what these people do, these pop critic analysts, like pop culture critic analysts. A lot of times it's just the politics of visibility, the politics of desirableness, the politics of attractiveness, things that make you like famous, that give you attention, but they're not necessarily things that always empower people. They're not even things that necessarily give you equality, even, because even the premise that one would have to be attractive or needs to be seen as attractive to be seen as valuable is already conceding so much in your discussion. You know what I mean? Even the idea that like everybody should make the same amount of money in industries that are based off of talent is kind of a reductive argument, because that's not true. And it's not true because personally it's not true. Meaning, if I said, hey, Beyonce is coming to town, and also Rod, who's been selling mixtapes at Food Line, is coming to town, your ass ain't paying the same for both tickets.
I will not.
Like it's not really a equality situation when we talk about talent in the
and
first
I love
place.
you, but I will not.
Yeah, but it was a different ride, but it was the point being, it's already so subjective, and we're not being honest when we try to turn like pop culture and extreme capitalism into like some weird meritocracy or socialism argument. It's not that. So yeah, I just thought that was a very frustrating, and one of the reasons this is a rare time that I'm even commenting on this kind of shit, but one of the reasons I find so many of the colorism discussions that happen in public to be ultimately useless.
Yes.
And the sad part is, at the end of the day, the reset button will be hit. It'll be like this conversation never took place, and it'll just happen it'll be Lupita Nyong'o's next movie. Someone will be like, y'all don't go up for Lupita Nyong'o the way y'all go up for and insert light-skinned person, and who are both of these black women now pitted against each other, like we're playing some type of fucking Pokemon battle game, right, when they're fucking human beings. And it's also just not a clear-cut example of colorism. It's just like, you're not gonna find that from these very visible, successful, rich people. You're gonna always run, like they're like, I can't believe y'all are fighting against this argument. It's like, you're gonna always have people fighting against this argument because your argument doesn't make a lot of sense to people,
right?
But that's and like I said, if I was a dark-skinned black woman actress and this, when y'all bring my name up, I would be pissed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of Bill Burr's bit about the WNBA, where he's like, why the fuck don't y'all just go to games? Like, you're spending all this time arguing online, you're spending all this time shaming people and all this shit. Go to the fucking game, fill up the arena, enjoy the sport you claim to support, rather than just use it as like a litmus test of how virtuous people are. Just go watch the games. That's what people do with these other sports. They just go watch them and they fail to succeed based on if people go watch them or, watch them at home, whatever, however you consume it, whether you buy the jerseys, where that kind of shit. There is something to that argument, which is support the projects that dark-skinned women do. And then you don't need to be sitting around going like, y'all don't go up for them the way you go up for, and it's always some fucking mega famous, mega talented, successful person. Like, it's so rare. Like, I don't want to even name a light-skinned person I find to be mediocre because I just don't want to start no shit. But it's never just like a person where we're like, that nigga just only getting these jobs because they light-skinned. It's always somebody that's actually really good at the job. So anyway, 0 to 100.
I'm gonna give it I'm fuck with because it's dumb. So 100.
Yeah, I think I'll give it yeah, I give it 100 too. I hate this shit.
Me too. And that's why I'm that's what really angers me, because it's one of those things where, like you say, it's like Control Alt Delete, and next time somebody else would come out with something, because it's gonna be one of them things. Let's say Zendaya's next movie come out, you're going to turn around and take some dark-skinned talented woman and be like, y'all go up for Zendaya, but y'all don't go up for her. Who cares? They both are black women, and it's stupid. Particularly being a black woman is fucking frustrating.
It wouldn't be bad, like I said, if somebody were to say like, yo, we did an analysis of Hollywood and we came away with this many dark-skinned people get in movies, this many dark-skinned people make this much money. There's something more to that, even though that's still not quite the analysis that would like the best analysis would be like, what the fuck does the craft services people make that are dark-skinned? How many people get to be a fucking best boy or a grip? Like, cause it's like we only are concerned with like this fame level of optics, like this attractiveness, the desirability level of optics. It's never the things that make people's lives better or worse. It's always this idea that the best thing you can have in America is fame and people wanting to fuck you, as opposed to like, what if I just want to be dark skinned and fat and make the same amount of money as the next nigga that works at Starbucks? What if it's affecting me that way? And I'm not, I'm not trying to be in a video. I'm not trying to get fucked. I'm not trying to get like, it's just, I want to live my life with the same resources that I would have if I were light skinned. Boom. That's the argument. And instead we end up with these arguments of which black woman is one gotta go. That's what it is. It's one gotta go. Thoughts. Yeah, it's one gotta go. Not thoughts. It's one gotta go. That's what it is. It's,
yeah, how you have the full picture.
Yeah, it's like Keke Palmer's having the best week of her life. One gotta go. Her Zendaya. Like, what? Why are we doing this?
Yeah. It's like one gotta go. Fried chicken, ham, macaroni and cheese, and greens. Yeah. One gotta go.
Yeah, it's bullshit. Henry Louis Gates Jr. announced as editor-in-chief of the new Oxford Dictionary of African American English. The dictionary will acknowledge contributions of notable black scholars and the evolution of English language. Popular words used in black culture for centuries are making a word in Oxford's newest dictionary. I saw some people were mad about this, but Henry Louis Gates, I'm gonna roll with him over you. Number one, the amount of work this man has done for black people, pretty much trumping almost anybody that got a problem with this. Two, this is that thing that happens where I feel like people have gone too far and actually made themselves anti-black. And it's that argument that like black culture is so insular and secretive, it should not be put in a museum. It should not be archived. It should not be monitored. It should not be commodified. It should not spread. It should not. To me, I'm like, that argument feels more reductive than this. We do need our own dictionary. We have our own language here as Black Americans that is unlike other people's languages from other places, and it's so good. It goes all over the globe. Like the shit we say will be what other people say at some point. And yeah, we deserve the credit we deserve the dictionary. And sure, there are gonna be some people that use it to decipher shit or whatever, but honestly, that's what we use dictionaries for anyway. You know what I mean? That's what dictionaries are meant to be. This is, of all the places for it to be archived, this to me seems like the best place. So yeah, I kind of want to see what happens with this project. You know,
I am here for it. Because even when we testify in juries and things like that, you know, the people that do the typing at the desk, we will say a thing one way and they will actually type it in a manner that we did not say it. Like
right.
those people need to learn our language, because what we say and what they hear is not the same. And so our language needs to be to a point where you go, hey, white people, this is what we said and this is what it means. And once it gets out there, it's no more excuses for people when it comes to the talking in the language. And the thing is, we're speaking English. It's just the fact that it is our own language. Just like any culture that's a non-white culture has their own language. I want to see it go to other languages too, actually, if truth be told, so people can get a better understanding of their language.
Also, like, our shit always gets pushed into the slang category.
Right.
But it's like it's slang if you're not used to speaking it, but it's also just the way I talk. You know what I mean? So like what was one person's slang is another person's just regular talk. And you know, I wonder if I don't know. It's like I think there's value here. So 0 to 100.
Oh, I'm not fucked with it all, because y'all know what? This is what the fuck diversity looks like, because everybody claims we're not a monolith and we want diversity and we want our own. And there's nothing wrong with it, because it is a part of the English language. I don't care. Yes, we do need our own dictionary. I'm not trying to find it. I hope they take this dictionary and teach the shit in school and help people understand how to decipher, not trying to find how to talk to us. You know, because truth be told, this is why so many of us code switch. Like, we don't code switch for no fucking reason. We code switch because if we come in there talking the way we do, all of a sudden everybody act like we're not even speaking the same language.
Well, honestly, like the code switch works both ways, because like it's also that conversation I can have with a black person in the elevator, and it could be in front of white people and they might not even know what the fuck we talking about, just based on what we talking about.
Right.
And how we're saying it. And when that happens at the nail shop, we're like, that's because this Vietnamese woman speaks Vietnamese.
Correct.
And she's talking to another person, could be saying anything in the world. We don't know what she's talking about. Well, black people been doing that in America since fucking slavery. We've had to have this language to survive. We've had to have this ability. So like, I don't see the harm in a dictionary collection of that. And it'll honestly help with some historical words that I probably didn't know had certain meanings or came from us. Even, you know, there's slang I probably think is white people slang that's probably our shit, like daddy-o or some shit. Well, I'm like,
right,
yeah, that's probably, and it's like, no, that shit was invented by niggas in 1925, you know.
Yes, and so I like that somebody is doing their job and going back and combing the archives and finding these root words and finding this shit to educate people, because for some reason you have people that think they know everything. You don't know everything about blackness. Blackness constantly evolves every single day.
Words with African origins such as goober, gumbo, okra survived the Middle Passage along with our African ancestors, Gates Jr. explained. And words that we take for granted today, such as cool and crib, hookum and dis and hip and hep and bad, meaning good, and dig, meaning to understand. These are just a tiny fraction of the words that have come into American English from African American speakers over the last few hundred years. Yeah, I like it. It's us claiming ownership. I fuck with it. Thank you. Zero fucked with.
Zero fuck with too. And let me tell you another thing that I think that I'm going to enjoy about this is black people have certain languages and certain words they use according to certain parts of the country. So it will be wonderful to hear what the slang that people out west, down in Texas, up here in North Carolina, up north, out in the Midwest, like the slang varies. So it would be wonderful to even as a black person learn the languages that actually other black people talk that you don't know, and then they talk and you be like, well, what does that mean? Or I don't understand. You know, what are we talking about? And so not only is it to educate white people, it's to educate black people that just don't know.
Yeah. And honestly, a lot of Black people that grow up separated from Blackness might need it. But
Agreed.
yeah, 2025 is when it will come out. So yeah, I think that's awesome, and I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's do some let's get into some else. Let's do a little bit of Black capitalism.
Shout out to Will Smith.
Oh
I hear
shit.
y'all talking, but the only thing I'm listening to is that paper. Every day we get into that paper. Woo! I hear the money talk, I see you later. Every day we get into that paper. Woo! I hear the money talk, I see you later. Don't think I forgot Harry Trump's supposed to be on the $20 bill.
Quinta Brunson is the first Black woman to receive 3 comedy Emmy nominations in the same year.
Let's go.
She has also made Emmy history with her 3 nominations with Abbott Elementary for Outstanding Comedy Series, Lead Actress in a Comedy, and Writing for a Comedy Series. She's 32. She's the youngest Black woman ever nominated in the acting category. The inclusion of Black creators has progressed over time, but there's still a long way to go. And then they get into that. But September 12th is when the Emmys will air. Shout out to Quinta.
Mm-hmm. I'm rooting for everybody Black. I am rooting for her and everybody from Abbott Elementary that got nominated. Like I don't know what's gonna happen, but I hope they just sweep.
HBCU grad makes history, acquires Fuddruckers brand in all 92 restaurants for $18.5 million.
Let's go.
Nicholas Perkins, who graduated from both Howard University and Fayetteville State University.
Oh shit now.
Mm-hmm.
Rocco Pride.
You know.
Attitude. Check. Yes.
Rocco Pride. We went to Fayetteville State University, for those that don't know. Has made history as the new owner of the International Fuddruckers restaurant brand. He was formerly one of the company's largest franchisees, but now has full ownership of all 92 of the company's restaurants in the United States, Canada, Panama, and Mexico. Perkins closed a deal for approximately $18.5 million through his affiliate Black Titan Franchise Systems LLC.
Come on, Black Titans.
I always want. Now you know what? Now I think about it, that's the one Titan in Attack on Titan I don't see.
No, I don't. I haven't seen no Black Titan.
You know what? I need to see that. I need to see the first ever. I need that to be the new Titan for Attack on Titan.
I would be here for it.
Now the problem is the Titans be naked, so they probably have to give them like some pants because you know how people get. But yeah, I want to see the Black Titan.
Me too.
He gonna be showing up late. He only gonna eat. He gonna season his people before he eat them.
He gonna show up with black and mild in his mouth.
The Black Titan. Why he got Lowry's?
The Black Titan. Why he got 40 ounce?
There's only a few people that get these jokes, and that's fine. That segment is for Black people that enjoy Attack on Titan.
Yes, I love myself some Attack on Titans.
Anyway, so shout out to him. You love to see it, honestly. I don't even know if there's a Fuddruckers near me in Charlotte, but I want to go now. And I know
we have to see if
I'm not a Fuddruckers guy.
It might be on the other side of town. I don't know.
My man Chris Lambert is a Fuddruckers guy.
Mm-hmm. We haven't been in just a long time.
Yeah, we used to live over in the area where there was a Fuddruckers. The only one I see is in Asheville is temporarily closed. So we used to live close to one in Charlotte.
Okay, so they don't have that one no more. Apparently not, huh?
No, okay. That's what I just said.
So. I didn't know.
All right. Now you know.
Thank you.
You know what's after battle. Terrence.
We start traveling. We're going to have to look for a Fuddruckers. Sorry, Chris Lambert. We can't eat it because it ain't here.
Terrence Howard.
Oh, shit. He made the list. What's happening?
He claims he invented a new hydrogen technology to defend Uganda. I mean, get to that paper, I guess. I mean, wow. What an entrepreneur.
You know, I was born Terrence Deshaun Howard. I've become an actor. You know, I've been nominated for Oscars and Golden Globes and SAG Awards, but those weren't the things that really moved me. As a child, I studied chemical engineering at Pratt Institute, was there for 2 years until I saw that there was an inconsistency with the math there. And so I went out to explore a new way of understanding how the universe works, and I was able to define the grand unified field equation they've been looking for and put it into geometry. And then with that geometry, I was able to put props on that. And what I'm saying is now we have invented a new form of flight that I would like to bring here to Uganda to replace the drones, to replace the helicopters, to replace the planes. We have all the funding necessary. What we need is just a fertile ground in which to build this. Now, this is the geometry of hydrogen. Of hydrogen. Hydrogen. This is the proton itself. So any bond that hydrogen can make, our linchpins are able to make. So we're talking about unlimited bonding, unlimited predictable structures, supersymmetry. And the linchpins are now able to behave as a swarm, as a colony that can defend a nation, that can harvest food, that can remove plastics from the ocean, that can give the children of Uganda and the people of Uganda an opportunity to spread this and to sell these products throughout the world. So we are no longer just selling agricultural products and pieces from the land. We can now sell and take center stage with technology. But the main purpose is to defend the sovereignty of a peaceful place and a peaceful people without having to have our young men lose their lives.
Now he is famous for saying that he had his own form of math as well. So I don't know if this is an extension of that.
Somebody was crunching real numbers though, not no made up math.
I don't know if these claims have been verified yet. He quit acting in 2019, then came out of retirement in 2020. But now as his side hustle, he's gonna be doing this. So
we will see.
Yeah, I guess we will or won't see.
Only time will tell.
Yeah, he did say he invented his own version of math. So he said when asked about 1 times 1, which we know equals 1, he said, how can it equal 1? If 1 times 1 equals 1, that means that 2 is of no value because 1 times itself has no effect. 1 times 1 equals 2 because the square root of 4 is 2. So what's the square root of 2? Should be 1. But we're told it's 2. And that can't be. This does not go over well, he says, and he soon left school. I mean, you can't conform when you know innately that something is wrong.
That shit might smoke. What are we talking about here? With that math, that shit gonna smoke. What kind of numbers are you using? That don't make no sense.
What's gonna smoke? What's gonna smoke?
Whatever machinery he trying to come up with, because he's talking about 1 times 1 equal 2. No, it don't. I don't understand what's happening. You can't make up your own math.
He was the Tony Stark the whole time. We thought he was gonna be the Iron Patriot or whatever the fuck, that War Machine. But I mean, he was explaining that math.
You know, I'm open to the conversation. I think it, you know, it really is something that I think is a little bit multifaceted and layered. And so, yeah.
This is the last century that our children will ever have been taught that 1 times 1 is 1. They won't have to grow up in ignorance. 20 years from now, they'll know that 1 times 1 equals 2. We're about to show a new truth, the true universal math, and the proof is in these pieces of plastic that he builds with his wife. I have created the pieces that make up the motion of the universe. We work on them about 17 hours a day. She cuts and puts on the crystals. And if you want to see a picture, there's a picture of the crystals. So, yeah, good luck to Uganda, and I hope that goes well for them.
Me too.
You love to see it. Black capitalism at work.
Me too.
Speaking of black capitalism, I got to support black businesses because there's a woman that has a mysterious pink sauce condiment.
Oh, this shit was everywhere,
causing a lot of controversy for people. She had some math that wasn't mathing on the back of her bottles apparently.
It was like, them numbers don't add up, ma'am.
Yeah, a new and mysterious pink sauce condiment is going viral on TikTok. It's caused a controversy among some internet users. The brightly colored pink sauce, which seems to be different hues of pink based on when you get it, I guess. The brightly colored pink sauce is aptly named and has caught the eye of TikTokers, with some citing concerns about the safety of the product. It was made by TikTok creator Chef Pie, who describes herself as on Instagram as the flavor genie. The mysterious sauce unusual color is believed to derive from dragon fruit, which is one of the ingredients listed according to the product website. Other ingredients include water, raw honey, sunflower seed oil, distilled vinegar, garlic, pink Himalayan sea salt, dried spices, lemon juice, citric acid, and milk. Ooh, milk. All right. Well, I'm sure that'll be fine. You know, just ship that in 117-degree heat, and it should be cool. In one TikTok that has been viewed 7.1 million times, the user cited concerns about the inaccuracy of the product labeling. So let's look at that.
Y'all, I'm scared for the pink sauce lady right now. I'm going to show you what I found. I'm going to cite everything, but I need to stress this right now. I believe in entrepreneurs. I want them to succeed. But when something legally doesn't make sense, I want to share it with you because I want to protect you. Because if someone gets sick from this, I am scared for the person who gets sick and the person who owns this business. Okay, so when you sell stuff that's non-commercial, you sell it to your kitchen, there's something called cottage law. It allows you to sell these items out of your kitchen with regulations. Cakes, cookies, cupcakes, pies, jams, preserves, stuff that goes on top of food, stuff like that. But I'm seeing so many errors in this nutritional label, seeing 444 servings, which is 14.4 grams, which almost makes 6,300 something grams in a full bottle, which is inaccurate. And if these small details were overlooked, I'm looking at quality control now. I'm kind of scared. The hue keeps changing, and I'm scared for the people consuming it. And it's so hard to find a nutritional label on the website. I mean, that should be readily available. The hue keeps changing. There's misprints all over the labels. The macros and micros do not add up. I'm genuinely scared for the people consuming this. Also, watch the video on this.
So, okay. That doesn't sound good.
Yep, and people saying it was misspelled words. I heard vinegar was spelled wrong.
It was spelled vinegar, VINIGGER.
Somebody didn't spell check.
I just made that part up. It was spelled vinegars. What's this one video?
I can't even respond to that. I'm just going to let that.
That's the other thing. Some people have been ordering it. So the people that have been ordering it have been, of course, doing unboxings. They've been getting it, and people's packaging has been fucked up.
Right on.
Yep, because
I'm gonna let that one fly.
Said this. So this one was like, this person's like, it smelled rotten. They took pictures of it. It looks like it maybe busted or got opened during the fucking shipping. It has milk in it, and I mean, you're shipping in this heat.
Yeah, and then the way it was packaged, because we order stuff like. And our shit come in like, sometimes that shit be so hard you break a sweat just trying to get to the packaging.
Right. It said the bottle had no more than 20 ounces something in it.
I'm just gonna let that one fly right on over.
I'm gonna let that one fly. Oh, the bottle had no more than 2 ounces of sauce in it when they poured it out. Wow. Yeah, man. I mean, on the internet, it's it's a lot, man. I think of when I order something from like Gold Belly, which is coming from a restaurant typically. The amount of packing and ice and shit that they put in there to make sure you get it and it's still cold so that you don't get sick from it. I mean, that's pretty important.
Yeah, and the thing is, you actually pay more for shipping because that's what you're paying for.
Yeah.
You're paying for it to be boxed, you're paying for it to be bubble wrapped, you're paying for the dry ice or whatever it is that they do. We've ordered Creamalicious ice cream. That shit came in a box with some dry ice, and the thing was like, oh, if you touch this, you're gonna fuck your skin up. This is cold.
And a lot of times the stuff that one of the fallacies we have as human beings is this idea that like everything needs to be natural. And it's always like a weird throwback idea because number one, when things were all natural, people was dying at 30. So
yes, sir.
the idea that like
preservatives are for a reason.
Yeah, you know, it's the when people say treat these very serious illnesses by taking like a vitamin that is also made by medical companies. You know, it's like weird shit like that. Anyway, so we have this obsession with like natural fetish like for it. So it's like all natural ingredients. But part of the reason that like mayonnaise can sit on the shelf in a Publix for a few weeks before I buy it or however long before I buy it and still be good when I get it home is because it has certain chemicals in there that keep it from just fucking preservatives. It has preservatives in there. This motherfucker is like, what's the ingredient? Milk, vinegar. Okay, so you made this like was like, I don't know that you can yeah. Anyway. And of course a lot of people have been doing, hey, support black businesses. It's a black woman. People are making a lot of quote unquote excuses for her. We need to go ahead and root for her and all this stuff, you know.
All right, y'all.
So she had to issue an apology after all this. And that's funny because in her apology video, she's not made up. Her hair is wrapped up. Like, it's so funny, like looking at the fun videos of her pouring the sauce over everything, like, we out here, you know, blonde wig, everything. But then this video was like, I'm serious. I'm gonna put my Annalise Keaton at the end of episode 1 of How to Get Away with Murder face on. And now I'm gonna talk to y'all for real, for real. I'm gonna be my real self.
Time to acknowledge the elephant in the room. So I want to start off by saying, number one, my apologies. My apologies. My apologies. I'm only human. I'm not perfect. Another thing, we have a team. Things happen. The grams got mixed up.
And the thing is, everybody on your team should be fired then. Because their job, you have a team, their job is to be sure that you look good. So somebody should have made sure vinegar was spared right. Somebody should have made sure and checked whatever the shit
I like
is.
that you believe she got a team, but keep going.
Yeah, but like I said, it's
a team now that it's fucked up. It was me before this.
And then that's why I say the team is her. So yeah.
Like whoever the team is, like y'all was printing them shipping labels out on the printer in the other room. Now it's a whole team, but okay.
A team, yeah, your brother that you don't pay,
yeah,
your cousin is 12.
Yeah, like it's not like team. I went out and got a PR person. I went out and got somebody that could like literally do the science on the food and all. It's like, nah, the team is, you know, and it's like, it's one thing to maybe be doing this because you got like some homies, because that before the internet, that's what it was, right? It's like, hey man, I made this apple wine in my basement, and it's like, yeah, my cousin Peanut gonna give me some of his wine at Thanksgiving that he illegally made, and I know what risk I'm taking. You know what I'm saying? But it's another thing for my cousin Peanut to log on motherfucking Twitter and be like, I'm gonna be mailing y'all moonshine
Don't y'all drink
from
that shit.
all over the world, and it's like, I can't vouch for my cousin making 3,000 bottles of moonshine in his basement. I actually can't vouch for the quality or the
You're gonna
method.
die. Don't you do that.
You know, I ain't never had 2 of the moonshines that tasted exactly the same. So I know y'all ain't about to get it.
They never taste the same. And honey, his thing is moonshine. It's all the moon and none of the shine. You be like, woo, good God.
So it's like, you would think that, I guess it says a lot about us as people that the charisma of somebody's social media can make me be like, fuck a FDA. Just send me the sauce. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need no motherfucking grade on the restaurant. Just send me the cookies. I remember when I used to get cookies online. I used to order them from like people I had seen on Twitter and shit. And this is 2010, 2011.
Long time ago.
And I just remember, and they were so good. And I remember I ordered some, and then like the person was getting overwhelmed. So it was like, the orders are coming in too fast. I can't keep up, blah, blah. I said, okay, cool. So I ordered some, and they get there, and I'm eating them, and they're delicious as always. And I thought to myself, I don't know what the fuck is in these. And not I don't know what the fuck is in these in like because I know what the fuck is in everything I eat way. No, I don't know what the fuck is in these. And if something happens to me, I can't sue this person. Like,
right.
I have no, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm eating Oreos and the Oreos make my face swell up, I'm like, oh shit, they done did something to the Oreos. I'm suing everybody. I'm as much to blame as anybody else for just getting this shit, you know? And I remember, and then like the person would post videos, cooking and stuff. And I never saw anything untoward or weird in there, but I was thinking to myself, like, they got a dog. What if the dog be on the counter? Dog could be licking the spoon. I never know. I never know. And you know what? I would know if it was a motherfucking Oreos factory because they got rules and regulations.
Yes, sir.
Dogs can't lick the spoon. You know, another thing too was everybody being mad at that one chef nigga. I forget his name. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
The one in Atlanta.
Yeah. And I'm like, his shit was so unofficial. But people, even with all the negative publicity, there were still people out there like, I'm going to his next event. Next event sold out. Don't care what he's getting, what they saying about him, the harassment, the doxing, it don't matter because it's like a level of charisma that people just don't give a fuck about the rest of that shit making sense. So anyway, I think that's what happened with this lady. And then seeing her issue this apology, which also sounds like not a statement, honestly, the apology even sounds kind of unprofessional.
Yes, it does.
With the serving size, there's 444 grams of pink sauce inside of each container. It's about 30 servings per container. It was a mistake.
And so this is the other thing I was thinking. When you are an entrepreneur, business person, and I'm not even talking about when you fuck up, I'm just talking in general, you kind of have to operate like you're a big business. Because people expect that from you. There's only a certain amount of allowance people are going to have for the fact that you're an independent Black business. Some people will be reasonable and most people will, but there's also like a certain level of like casual coolness and like this unfilteredness that is not what anybody wants from a business when they're having a problem. When someone writes me about some issue they having with our website, I don't be like, all right, first of all, I had a headache yesterday and it doesn't matter how my day went.
It sure don't.
In that instance, I just need to help them and hopefully as fast as possible and make it as not that inconvenient if I can help it. And I talk to them very professionally. I don't, what's up, my nigga, it's Rod. Like, I don't do that shit because it's a business at that point. And so someone should have probably written a statement for her to read and she should have just read that. So even the apology sounds impromptu, and I don't know. Them sauces looked at impromptu with them different colorings.
Each batch was different, apparently.
Yeah.
Mistake. We fixed the issue. You guys will not be receiving pink sauce bottles with the bad label. We are replacing all of the labels. We also are sending you guys a gift and a thank you note. And this is a small business, y'all. This is a small business that is just moving really, really fast. We are working to try to get the price mark down on the pink sauce. I want to also say I appreciate y'all for supporting me, for spending $20 per sauce to help us to produce it because the ingredients are not cheap. Yes, we are following FDA standard. However, we are currently in lab testing. We are in lab testing currently.
Yeah, lab testing should have happened before you sold this, honey, to the public.
Yeah.
Like you and your mom and them can try it, but we should have been lab testing prior to you shipping it out to the public, because somebody in lab test would be like, hey, you need to do certain things because, you know, preservatives, or, you know, it's hot out there, you know, what are you going to do? You know, yeah, lab testing is different, you know, yeah. So some, you know, you and your mom and them just taking it and putting them in aluminum foil and shipping it, you know, that's a problem.
So once we go through lab testing, we will be able to pitch to stores to put the pink sauce in stores, and we're so excited about that. But yeah, we're growing every day. I'm listening to y'all. I see y'all. I'm a passionate person, but yeah, I'm listening to y'all. I hear y'all. And
yeah. And so, you know, a lot of people were doing it's a black woman, we gotta support her, and wow, the black women's mistakes have to get, you know, da da da.
You would not accept this from McDonald's. Shit, y'all people freak out when the ice cream machine ain't up. You would not accept this.
Yeah,
this is unacceptable.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you can't just hide behind that.
Yeah, you can't just yada 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 pass.
Because like it's a lot of, you know what? Because a lot of black people that do shit the right way too. Like it's not a, you know, like I honestly, like that's one of the things I don't like about that type of mentality of like, to be black means we by default are going to be subpar and people just need to accept that. I'm like, not really. You know what I mean? Like, I don't put this podcast out and be like, yeah, it's shitty, but it's black, so don't say nothing. You know what I mean? Guys, we tried, you know, like, so it's just, I don't know. But listen, she getting that money and maybe it's a scam. I don't know. Maybe she's just putting some pink dye in mayonnaise package. I don't know. I don't care, because we just love to see it. We love to see black people getting money. That's what this whole segment is about. And she got to the money. Now
that she did. Somebody
now the lawsuit. Now I don't know how she's gonna pay it, but
yeah,
you know,
I don't see how she's gonna do that. And there are FDA standards. Somebody was asking about the FDA standards and asked a question. Yeah, they are standards, particularly when you ship in and all that type of stuff. You know, it needs to be a certain temperature and all that stuff.
Oh no, the joke. I think the joke he was saying was, first of all, she said FDA standard with no S.
Oh,
but
no!
The joke he was saying in the chat, he's not asking a genuine question. He's saying, she acting like there was an FDA standard on this shit when she shipped it. She wasn't using no FDA standard. Nope. She just was. You could tell from them different colors. That was a pinch of this, a handful of that,
a dash of that, a stir of this, because the FDA got every batch gonna be the same.
Yeah, I ain't never been in no motherfucking in the condiment aisle and been like, now this ketchup came out a little orange.
Like, shit, it better not.
Like, yeah, so I don't think he was saying that at all. All right, let's see. Was there anything else? You know what? We've been going an hour 45 minutes. We need to start wrapping it up anyway. Let's do a little bit of sword ratchetness and we'll wrap it up, and we'll be back in a couple days at least.
Go in there and might catch up some bright ass red, and it's not no special ketchup. I turn that whole container over.
I just like the I fucked up cadence to her talking. Like when people make mistakes, she sounded like a little kid that caught in a lie. Okay, let's just talk about this for a second. Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Breaking news this morning.
Let's just for a second, everyone calm down. It's like who ate these cookies? Okay,
I know everybody mad, mom and dad. I know you're very upset, and I know you're looking at me like I was at fault. But let me say, my people.
You said I could have. You said I could have some cookies. You said I could have some cookies. Remember that? You said I could have cookies.
I did.
I'm like, I said you could have cookies last Friday.
You're right. Not today. You didn't ask me about today.
It's Sunday. Remember, I said you had to ask for the cookies. Okay, you said, but you said I could have some. You said the cookies. You said that's what the cookies were for. You're like, okay, this is what. I don't want that when I call about my fucking sauce order. Okay,
I don't, and she's trying to get in front of the possible lawsuits and or people demanding refunds.
All right, sword ratchet this time.
An attempted murder investigation has been launched after a man was allegedly attacked with a sword overnight in Waikiki. And our Casey Len joins us now live from the scene on Kalakaua Avenue. Casey, what can you tell us?
Yes, Steve, again, first, a warning that the details of this story are graphic. I want to get to the news that we just got into the newsroom. We did learn that the man who was arrested in this investigation was arrested for second-degree attempted murder. He has not yet been identified by police. We're trying to get that information. But here's what we know. Around midnight, there was an altercation between two people at this 7-Eleven. Now, witnesses have told me that one of those people was a 7-Eleven employee, though police have not confirmed that detail. I have confirmed it, though, with several witnesses that were here. They say there was some kind of an argument inside the store. Eventually, that argument came outside the store. I talked to one witness, Michael Suisa, who was visiting Waikiki with his family from Switzerland. He says he likes to take walks late at night. He was headed down to the 7-Eleven to get ice cream. While he was in the store, that altercation began. Again, it eventually came outside. When Michael was inside the store, he heard a loud scream, and that's what he encountered when he came outside of the 7-Eleven.
Oh, shit.
The victim started to shout and to cry. And then I looked at the floor, then I saw that his half hand on the floor, and he ran to the side of the store, and he fell there on the floor. I was shocked. I spoke with my friend with our language, and I said, "Did you see what happened?" He said, "Yes, he just took his sword and just cut his hand." I was shocked.
A little difficult to make Michael out there, but recapping that, he's saying that he did see that gentleman's hand on the parking lot of this 7-Eleven, saying that the 7-Eleven employee, again, according to witnesses, police haven't confirmed it was an employee, did cut that man's hand off. We also talked to several other witnesses, one of them a security guard in this area. He says that 7-Eleven employee and the gentleman in question here, the man who was taken to the hospital, have had a past. And he knows the 7-Eleven employee. He said he was worried that it was going to eventually get physical. We've also talked to neighbors in this area, Steve, who say they're not surprised something like this happened. They say there are a lot of problems. We'll continue to follow this story. We're also waiting to hear details on that man's condition who was taken to the hospital. Steve? Yeah.
Was the 7-Eleven afraid to fire this employee?
Sound like they already had been having problems, so it must have, got off on the wrong hand. All right, y'all. That's it for today's show. Thanks for listening. We'll be back later on in the week. Until then, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody.